Ready and an assist. Spiders lead by goals. We head to the second.
Part of Dan Shamati's answer, he said, we're winning backups. That's a sliding in recovery. So when they support a one-on-one matchup, their ability to go back inside and recover and get whole again is what's really impressive.
And they win their first face-off of the day after 6 defeats at the face-off dot. So that's a good sign as well here to start the second quarter. There's Joe Sheridan. He was the MVP of the A10 tournament. That turnover. You see now this leads to a fast break too. Here's Gilmartin on the run. Kirst. And Walker Wallace on the trail. This time Staub stays in to set a pick for Kirst. Now he checks out, but Kirst has a little bit of room. Not as much room as that man right there, though. Goldstein, 2-3 fakes and beats Figu.
This is not what Dan Shamati wants. A turnover early to start the second quarter because he knows what's on the back end. It's a beast named CJ Kirst. Look at the strength. Hunter Smith is not a small guy. 6'2", 220 pounds. CJ Kirst just runs through him. And then once again, not one, not two, not three fakes. Ryan Goldstein with the patience. But the strength of CJ Kirst to win the leverage point of attack of that matchup against Hunter Smith just opened up everything because the slide had to go to him from Ryan Goldstein.
And a great decision to pass it to Goldstein and not take the shot, even though you're the leading scorer in the country.
Connor, they're the #1 team in terms of assists per game. They are selfless. The ball moves at hyper speed. It's hot potato.
Keller. Here's Firth. Kelleher looks to the bench. Goldstein has defender hung up. That's going to be an easy goal. Andrew Dalton.
Here's the problem with the turnover early in the second quarter, Connor. You give the Cornell offense another opportunity, and Cascadin is owning the face-off X. So then the offense gets fed again, and everyone eats because of the ball movement. And Dalton, the senior lefty from Canada, is automatic. I love how he uses the defender as a screen there. And he shoots low off the hip of Mitchell Dunham, who was recently drafted by the PLL Utah Archers, 17 in red.
That time was Anthony DeCenzo getting the face-off win for the Spiders, just their second of the game. The NHL playoffs continue tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC. Winnipeg fights to keep their season alive in Dallas against the Stars. Game 6 of the Western Conference second round Stanley Cup playoffs. They're presented by Geico. Coverage also available, as you know, on ESPN+. Creo on the run. Shores! Wow! Hit the corner! Come on, man! Come on! Spiders are saying, you guys are all just talking about defense up there in the booth. You can find the back of the net as well.
Gavin Creo, you talked to Dan Shamati. He said he's bounced back earlier in the season, struggling a little bit to find his groove. He's back on Long Island. Chaminade High School, Rockville Center. Let it fly, 10. It's a homecoming for this guy right here. Had the entire team over for dinner Thursday night. His dad, David, owns a ravioli company.
New York Ravioli and Pasta Company.
What a day to be a Spider Thursday night, right? Come back to the island, get fed that kind of food.
Ravioli and some gravy. Dave, give us a call afterward. I want to give you my home address. See if we can get some ravioli and some pasta, some sauce sent our way.
Just love how Creo really let that one fly, too. He felt the pressure of the Cornell defense, and he timed it perfectly to get his hands free.
Winning some face-offs here now. Kind of stemming that tide. That's the one thing when Cascading gets on a roll, Kark. This team can score some goals quickly.
They were down 5-0 on face-offs in the first quarter. Now it's 7-3.
Yeah, I think it was 6-0, Kark. Packard got to the middle of the field. Aiden Red, he's going to put in a lot of miles today. Two-way guy.
Yep, he's an old-school two-way guy. We'll see one in the second game. Sam English from Syracuse.
Outpaw on the run, way too high. Watch out in the corner.
Good backup by O'Neal. What I love about this Richmond team is they never flinch. Like, they were down early on the road against North Carolina last week. Outscored the Tar Heels 11-5 in the second half. Like, they know who they are. They're going to stick to their plan.
O'Neal bounces it.
Not enough offensively. Yep. Cotter is longer possessions. Frustrate this offense from Cornell and play a little keep away.
They got a longer one here because Nuss got just a piece of that shot, so fresh 60 on the clock. Pickard swims to his left. Now he gets his right hand free and scores.
This kid is going to be something. I saw him play in high school. He grew up in Pleasantville, New York, about 10 miles from my hometown in Yorktown. He is an exceptional athlete. He's the best football player in Westchester County his senior year. All-10 rookie year. In 2025, he's two-handed. He can dodge from all over the offensive set. When you watch the tape, he goes from the low angles, and this time up top, right through the heart of a Cornell defense. That is like an in-your-face type goal. The double comes, he swats it off, and he continues to go through the heart of that defense. Big moment for the Frosh.
Now Jackson Strickland taking this face-off. So Coach Shamati is trying to throw in everything he's got. All three of his main face-off guys in this game to see if he can find that combination. It's going to go against Richmond, though. So here's Firth. So we've seen Chinoy, DeCenzo, and now Strickland taking draws for Richmond. Kirst loses his footing, gets it back.
Withholding by Kirst. You see the time double by Richmond, though? It was done to perfection to jump Kirst. And it's the angle of the double, right? It doesn't happen right in front of Kirst's face. If it happens in front of Kirst's face, he's hitting that next man in the rotation, and they're going to find the inside as a result.
Kirst so far on the day, 0 for 4 shooting, has the one turnover. Richmond has forged this one-goal lead. A-10 champs, currently riding a 9-game winning streak coming into this one. Beat North Carolina in the first round. Creo trying to get under Gilmartin, can't do it. Now O'Neal. Got the shorty matchup. That's Gilmartin. Spins it to the far side. Here's Merklinger. On the run, shoots and scores! That's 3 already for the team captain.
Did I say Merklinger was two-handed as it gets? His first 2 goals with his natural right hand. The shot location on this one was a beauty, but it starts with the defensive double. They swarm the all-time leading goal scorer in Division I lacrosse history. Give it to your Energizer Bunny. That's what Dan Shamati calls him. Sweeping down the alley with the left hand. When you are this two-handed, you can't hedge as a defender. You don't know where to flush 42. What a rip.
A 3-0 run for the Spiders. They forged their largest lead of the day at 2 goals. Merklinger is 3 for 3 shooting on the day as well. As efficient as it gets. Long. They want to strike quickly, but can't do it.
And I was telling you, Cotter, this team in Richmond doesn't flinch. Cornell goes up early in the second quarter. You think, oh boy, here it comes.
They're winning every face-off.
Yeah, here it comes. Richmond stays true. Longer detailed possessions on offense and crazy time doubles on defense is defining this game.
Just saw one right there. Kelleher got a step on his defender, but the help came. Forced to back up top. Goldstein. Here's Kirst. Looking for his first on the day. Firth on Packard. Runs by him. Packard does a nice job, though, getting into the passing lane, forcing the turnover.
Sticks up. When you're one of the 5 defensive players not on the ball, you got a job to do. And that's what Richmond has done all season long. Second nationally in terms of goals against on the defensive front.
Alpaugh. Behind O'Neal. There's Merklinger again, 42 on 42, but 42 in red likes that matchup. Now Dooley comes to help. Pickard. Lots of pick from Packard. Good job defensively by Staub.
If you're Pickard in that spot, he's a young player, a freshman. Just run to space. Trust your athleticism. Don't make that pass when a defender's all over your hip.
Timeout on the field. 8:09 left to go in the first half. Richmond giving the #1 team in the country a battle. Goal lead, and this is a program that hasn't been around for a long time, just 12 seasons, and Dan Shamati played his college lacrosse at Duke, started the program, he's been with them all 12 years and has built them into a winner. They've made the NCAA tournament 6 different times, and this year they picked up their first win ever in the tournament in that first round against North Carolina. Only a very mild upset. When everybody who's watched this team all year knows. But they're for real, and they're showing Cornell that they're for real today.
They are, and it's been a steady climb and build by Shamati, who he's got like CEO type characteristics and tendencies. And he was telling me they were at 8 scholarships for a while, then they went to 10, and then finally got the fully allotted 12.6 just 2 seasons ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
He said it was emotional for him when John Hart, the AD, and his staff told Shamati they were going to be a fully funded program. And just in year 2 being fully funded, you get your first tournament win, and now you have the #1 team in the nation right now thinking.
Trying to force that pass into long. Turnover. Thinking hard right now, Cart. Pilling. Watch out from behind. Absorbs the blow. Gets it to Littlejohn.
I mentioned earlier, Aiden O'Neal is the only 50-point scorer on this offense. It's actually a strength of theirs because they don't rely on 1 or 2 guys to do the damage. They beat you with great ball movement, off-ball manipulation of the other 5 players in the offensive set moving in the pick game. They're so hard to scout because anyone on this team right now can score a goal.
Lucas Olson. See how physical 24 shoots. Doesn't get through that defense, though. Picked up by Staub.
So how does Cornell get going here? I think you got to be a little bit versatile in the way that you use C.J. Kurtz. When he's at his best, he's dodging from everywhere on the offensive frame, and he's using picks in some tough spots. So Hunter Smith, who's a close defender, if C.J. Kurtz dodges from up top, which he's so comfortable doing, and you implement a little bit of the pick game, which they're doing right here, I think you could free up C.J.
Thought about taking the shot on the run. Now he backs into his defender, Smith, but nothing to do with Goldstein here. Looking for a cutter. He's got his defender hung up. In the form of Michael Farrell. Now to Kirst. Working on the shorty Packard.
This is what the pick game does. It switches, you get a shorty.
Long couldn't handle the pass inside, though. He does a nice job just to goose it forward and get it to Kelleher. Now you get that famous ball movement. Goldstein. He shoots. Figure. All over it.
His defense is dialed.
6 saves for Vigu.
CJ Kirst is 0 for 4. In the first matchup, this sounds crazy, he only had 3 goals, which to his standard is very low. 6 last week against Albany. He's had a 9-goal game earlier in the year against Yale. When you hold him to 3, you go after the head of the snake.
He's got 1 assist on the day. He assisted on one of Goldstein's goals, but yet to find the back of the net himself. Under 5 minutes to play. O'Neal. Sheridan.
Steve, you're hot! Steve, just you! Come in here, go!
Erklinger had a notion there before the space was closed out. Now he shoots. Nust, no problem.
Yeah, that was a good save by the lefty Nust, who's been very, very strong in 2025. Struggled a bit last season. Lost his job. Gained it back in the offseason. It was a committee last year with Wyatt Nust and Matthew Tully, but it's been all Nust. 55%, top 20 nationally in save percentage. They'll need him against this very efficient Richmond offense.
Just picked up his 200th save of the season, becoming the 6th goalie in Cornell history to hit that number. Take a look at the brackets. Big weekend ahead. We're in 1 game here. The first game, I should say, of 4. Coming up next, Princeton and Syracuse. Everyone's looking forward to seeing that one because when both of those teams, if they play at their best, that game's going to be crazy.
Lights out. But this Final 8, the quarterfinals, it's like a mini Final 4. Back in the day, there'd be 2 or 3 teams that could win. Any of these teams could win a national championship. Storylines in each one, right? No, this isn't David versus Goliath in Cornell Richmond, because Richmond is for real. Notre Dame looking for a three-peat. Now we rekindle the old rivalry in May between Syracuse and Princeton, and then Maryland, the mainstay in May under John Tillman. Since 2011, he's been to 10 championship weekends, and he's going against his former assistant, and Kevin Warren. And you could argue Georgetown might be the hottest offense in the country right now.
And at times they struggled this year, figuring it out just at the right time. Can they finally get over the hump and get the championship weekend on Memorial Day? That's May 26th. 1 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have the national championship game from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough on ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. That's your home for all 90 NCAA championships. We were just talking about Wyatt Nust coming off a great save. Zach Figue's been outstanding all game long.
Yeah, he had 14 last week against UNC. He's a big body righty. Just using that wide base with really quick top-hand speed. You see that on the low-angle shot by Ryan Goldstein. They will need him because Cornell will be relentless. They will go on runs in this game. They've never been held without a run. A big, massive run this season. The only team that solved them for the first 3 quarters the entire year was Richmond.
Yes.
Their one loss was Penn State, but they were up by 3 goals late in the 4th quarter against Penn State. And then there was an unreleasable penalty by Cascadin, the faceoff specialist, that allowed Penn State to get back into that game late and then win in overtime. Richmond's the only team that's had an answer for the Big Red.
Good shot of Vigu there. Coach Shimani said Vigu, who is a graduate student, been with this program for 5 years, said at a team meeting before the Georgetown game that he wasn't playing well, and it was kind of on him. And Shimani said since that meeting, he's playing his best lacrosse. Nothing you can do about that, though. Kirst is going to get his, and he finally gets his first goal of the day.
You're told as a young lacrosse player, attack the goal. There's no east-west about this dodge with C.J. Kirst. Hunter Smith, the top cover guy, he eats the initial check, and then the slide is a little bit late. He gets inside it right here. He just uses his crease awareness and body to stick that past Zach Figue. That is a big body who knows pay dirt as well as anyone you'll ever see.
Single season goal leaders in Division I history. 3 behind Mac O'Keefe, at least for the time being. Challenge flag has come out, though, from the Richmond bench. The only thing I could think of here, Carcass, maybe they're challenging in the crease.
Could be the crease, it could be the goal mouth. So
he jumped away from the goal mouth, though. I think it might be a foot in the crease here. No?
He's clean. He's clean.
Ball is free.
It's hard to see
Ball's
that
in the
right
goal.
foot as he's shooting.
I think he's out. I'm not sure about this challenge. I thought it was pretty obvious in live action that he was not in the crease ever.
The goal mouth is irrelevant right here. See here, that looks clean here. How does he drag this toe, though?
The right one. No.
I don't know if the right one ever hits the ground. It looks like he leaves both feet. From that angle, look at his right foot. Does it hit the ground? It doesn't look like it.
No, and if that ball crosses the goal line before that foot hits anyways, it's a goal.
And the beauty of replay on turf, you'll see the black pellets a lot of times fly in the air if you're scraping the turf. But you have the half-circle goal mouth. That's not in play at all. You can't land in the goal mouth unless it's defensive pressure. Even after the ball crosses the goal line. So he's so far from the goal mouth. It's all about the crease line. And from that angle, I think it'll be very difficult to overturn this goal. And C.J. Kirst, the goal scorer, he's so smooth in terms of going upfield with this and negating any crease-type play. There's the left. See, the right, to me, never hits the turf. It's still in the air when the ball crosses the goal line. You could land in the crease after the ball crosses the goal line. Can't land in the goal mouth. So that was a good call by the officials, and the reason why we have replay.
I love the self-awareness as well. So many times, Clark, we see that foot, that trailing foot, hit inside the crease. It was almost like Kirst realized it and kept that foot elevated until the ball went beyond the line. His first goal of the day.
106 points. You think about the Cornell greats. The Eamon McEnany's and the Mike French's played less games, so they never really approached the century mark. But the Tim Goldsteins, the Rob Pennells, no one's had more points in a season than C.J. Kirst at Cornell. No player's ever scored as many goals in a career.
Chinoy back at the face-off dot, and man, that would have been a great opportunity. Lucas Littlejohn couldn't handle the low pass, so a face-off one, but a turnover back to Cornell.
Those are the type of turnovers that you have to document because Cornell just scores a goal. You haven't been super efficient at the face-off X. You finally are getting into a groove. You win one, and then you turn it over and give this offense. That was their 6th turnover of the day.
Against the 10-man ride, Goldstein had a shot. And that's the danger when you take a long-distance shot against the 10-man ride with an empty goal is if you don't have it backed up, that's a turnover. Game's been a back-and-forth affair, really. Nobody with a larger than 2-goal advantage at any one point in time in this first half.
I think Richmond has been at its best when it uses a lot of clock and longer offensive possessions to get this defense spinning.
Littlejohn inside, man. That's exactly where he wanted it, but he couldn't handle the pass again.
You're
It's
right,
a box
Potter.
lacrosse player's dream right there.
Yes, 4 goals against Carolina last week. He's automatic from that spot.
4 ties, 3 lead changes as we tick inside of almost at the 2-minute mark here in this first half. Kirst has Firth and Dalton coming in, as well as Kelleher. Don't forget, Syracuse and Princeton follow us about a half hour after our game ends, right here from Hofstra. On the run, Kirst hits the pipe.
You see the snappy wrist too, right? He just uses that big body, stays north-south. It's like a runaway train. So hard to stop when he gets to the momentum.
Fresh 60 for Goldstein and company. Firth gets it back. One-handed. Vignew makes the save.
He's been really good in tight high. Got to clear this. They've had multiple blown clears.
Oh, good play that time by Mitchell Dunham. Way up the ladder. He needed to use all 6'5" of his, but now they can't clear it. Goldstein as Vignew tries to get back. Behind the back pass. Intercepted. Packer tried to chase it down. Stalk got a stick on it and saved it to Kirst. Wild action in the middle of the field.
I'm impressed by Ryan Goldstein's riding ability. He is like a gnat on defenders. Got lucky though with that errant behind the back pass that the ball kind of trickled back to Cornell, because that's probably one Coach Busick will say, we don't need that.
Down a goal here late in the first half.
But I think moving forward, Cotter, the more that the ball goes at X right here with Goldstein, the better this offense is. You know Kirst is going to dodge and create his own shot, but when this offense is at another level, Goldstein is a catalyst at X.
Timeout taken by Cornell. Second and final timeout of this half. 28.5 remaining. Shot clock is irrelevant. The NCAA's all-time career goal scorer coming into this game, C.J. Kirst, also leads the nation this year in goals and points. Got off to a little bit of a slow start today.
He did, because it's a team defensive effort. Zach Vignew in the net. It's the swarming defense. Kirst there on a push that allows Richmond to go on the extra man. But watch the doubles too. They always know where 15 in white is going to be. He loves the left wing. But then it's just a matter of him finding pay dirt, because he does it as well as anyone we've seen. If Cornell goes on a run to a national championship, wins here today and plays next weekend, not only is he the most prolific scorer in Division I lacrosse history from a career perspective, but he could break Miles Thompson and John Reese's 82 goal-scoring seasons. Reese in 1990 and Miles Thompson in 2014. Reese from Yale and Thompson from Albany. There's no record that's safe when 15 in white is on the field.
And you know Bill Tierney is smiling, making him the first overall pick for the Water Dogs.
Yeah,
the
team
PL draft a couple of weeks ago.
Michael Sowers, it's
C.J.
Kirst is Thunder. Michael Sowers is Lightning. A lot like a Ryan Goldstein, right? Sowers actually trained Ryan Goldstein in the Philadelphia area. They're both Philadelphia natives. They spent a lot of time together. So you see a lot of Michael Sowers in Ryan Goldstein's game. Here, I'm going to Kirst and I'm using some picks, right? And I don't expect Kirst to have to go to the goal, but I want him to disrupt the flow of this sliding defense, to be the main initiator. And if it's not the assist from Kirst, it's the hockey assist. It's the two away. And Cornell's the best team in terms of assists this season in college lacrosse.
Out of the timeout, Cornell's got Dalton in the middle of the field. Now long back at X. Here's Kirst. Working on Smith. Bounces off him, now gets in front of the goal, pipes it. Bounced it, and it bounced high and hit the top pipe. Kirst wants a goal. Officials say no goal. And a crease violation, so they want to restart it back here, GLE.
The problem is Cornell can't challenge that because they don't have any timeouts.
Yes.
So if Coach Busick had a timeout, he could challenge that. The refs aren't going to challenge that. unless there's 4 minutes left in the game, they have the right.